I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I see. Carrot. Potato. Oh, you can pick it up and put it down. Ah. Chug and hop on the train. Choo-choo, chugga-chugga, and all that rot. Okay. Corking. Right, well, get your above boots on, then we'll go off. Oh, I can't read. Whoa!
I'm in the right fit. This is what my whole life, all those struggles, everything that I've done and learned has led up to is this moment of making games.
Welcome to episode 3 of Diving Indie. Today we're talking to Tobey, one half of Samobee Games, about their up-and-coming magical girl puzzle game, Princess Farmer. In this interview, Tobey shares her background, finding her calling in game dev, and how Whitethorn Games, their publisher, has been a game changer for them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying the chat, and join us next time on Twitch. Everything you need is in the description. Now get ready, we're diving in. Yeah, how about just to get started, how about you just tell me a little bit about yourself? Tell me, maybe your name, where you're from, and maybe a fun fact if you have one ready, and if you don't, that's fine too, because those questions stress me out sometimes.
For sure. I live in BC, Canada, looking out at the mountains in a lake right now.
Ooh.
I am one half of Samobee Games, and my wife is the other half. I'm the programmer / writer, and she is the game designer / artist. And we have been in games for a while. She was an artist, and then a producer, and then a game designer at Club Penguin, Disney Club Penguin.
Hear that, guys?
And
Club Penguin. Yeah. That's wild. I remember seeing stuff like that on Twitter, and I think that was something that I was like, okay, this is different. Like, this is gonna be a pretty cool, unique, but also like nostalgic experience, which got me excited.
Yeah. And she's in the chat, so feel free to ask her questions.
Yeah.
But she was on the party team for a long time, so if you ever attended a Club Penguin party, it was probably her. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I actually work there as well, but I work there as a recruiter and admin assistant and recruitment coordinator and all that. And so that is my background there. And then I went off to take care of our kid, and I decided to learn programming. So I taught myself programming.
Wow, casual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I taught myself. I tried in Unity first, and it wasn't a really good fit. So I'm in Game Maker, and then we did one game, and it was okay. And then we moved to where we are now, and we started working on Princess Farmer, and it's been more than a couple of years now, and that's where we are now, making Princess Farmer.
I love it. This is probably the first interview we've done so far where you have some background going in. You're not completely fresh to it. Between Club Penguin and then your other projects, it's really nice that you already had that background. So learning programming is not an easy undertaking. So what languages were you learning, and how long did it take to feel like you were comfortable with it?
So I started just like watching tutorials and reading books, and that's all I did for a while. And then Charlene told me, you just need to do it. So I started dabbling, doing little bits. I got intimidated and ran away, and then came back to it. And it felt like a natural fit when I went into Game Maker and started doing some really good tutorials there. And it just made sense the way they deal with objects and then the events within the objects. So we did a lot of prototypes before we did our
Mm.
first game, and then a lot of prototypes afterwards.
Wow, that's really impressive. Props to you for sticking with it. I work in an environment. I do not do coding myself, but I work in an environment like that, and also my boyfriend does coding as well. I don't know. I get it. I can understand the logic, but there's a lot of detail in it and a lot of intricacy that you have to kind of figure out and remember. And oh wow, I missed a parentheses, and that's why my entire thing is broken.
Yes, exactly. I think the hardest part of it is figuring out how you want to do a certain thing, like how is it even done, rather than like just doing it. Once you know how to get from here to there, then it's easier to figure out.
Yeah, definitely. So let's take it back a little bit. If you had to pick, you can pick more than one if this is a hard question, but if you had to pick like your favorite game, what would you say is your favorite game of all time, or the game that really got you passionate about the idea of creating a game yourself? These could be two answers, I suppose.
Oh, well, that is two answers. Well, the first game ever that inspired me, I had an Atari 520 ST, and I was 10 years old, and I played the game Rogue on it, and it was prettier than most people know how it looks, because I guess the Atari ST just had the colors and all that sort of stuff, and I really loved that game, and I also did some programming in BASIC on that computer too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Adventures of Super Pickle. They were text-based games.
I love it. I'm not sure if I've heard of that one, which I feel like now I'm regretting that I haven't.
No, it was a lot of fun to do, and that one that I did was inspired by my friend had the Commodore 64, and we played Adventureland on it, and that was just text-based, and I loved it so much, and that's why I did the Adventures of Super Pickle. So.
Yeah, and then so on Princess Farmer, you did not just the programming, but also the writing as well, right? Mm-hmm. So did those games sort of inspire you wanting to go down that path and wanting you to because it's not just you putting words on, like, I can tell there's a lot of intent, there's fun, there's goofiness, but there's also, there's a lot of love put behind the dialogue. So I'm curious if that kind of inspired you to put that effort in.
Well, that was the other thing that I always wanted to do, was be a writer. So that's the other thing I did on my Atari 520 ST. I had books and books and books and books that I wrote when I was a kid, and it was just a huge passion of mine, and all throughout school. And then I went to university, and I took a computer science course, and I took a writing course, and it just, I don't know, I just got too intimidated by the atmosphere, and I ran away, and I did something else. I learned to make jewelry.
Oh wow, you have been all over the map. I love it.
Yes, I have. That was just an incredible experience, and I loved it so much. I learned so much, and I had to give up making jewelry because I got tendonitis in both my wrists.
Oh,
so
wow,
that was really unfortunate.
Yeah, that sounds. Especially if you found something that you feel like, okay, this is the thing I want to do, after feeling like you couldn't do those other things. But I guess maybe, silver lining, you were able to come back and do something like this game, which from everything I can see, I follow Whitethorn Games, and I'm pretty actively involved in watching all the games come out. I saw so much about Princess Farmer and so much hype around it before I even really knew what it was. So even long before we started having conversations, it was very much on my map, on my radar, and I can tell that this is going to definitely be a pretty big thing. considering the indie space is so challenging to work in and challenging to get your game out. I think this is going to be one that does well. I'm not sure what point I'm trying to make here, but basically I think that it all worked out.
I'm in the right fit. This is what my whole life, all those struggles, everything that I've done and learned has led up to is this moment of making games and writing for them. So, yeah.
I'm so happy. This is great. Well,
thanks.
I mean, this is something that, so you didn't feel like you really necessarily fit with the writing side or the programming side, but this is the thing about gaming. It is kind of a uniquely situated area where you can find your community, right? Which I feel like is what you've done with this. But even so, I know that there's a lot of negativity within women and especially those in the LGBTQ plus space, whether involved or just in support of it within the gaming area. So have you directly had to deal with any of that or seen any, or have you been able to sort of coast through and keep in the safe bubble, because it's a great bubble to be in?
Yeah, I know. I haven't actually received anything
that's good.
Specifically negative towards us. I mean, I see it out there, and I dread the day they find us, kind of thing.
Well, when they do, you've made it, right? So
yeah, that's true.
I hope it doesn't happen, but also, it's all right. You'll push through, because I know that the people who love these kind of games, just wholesome, really just like, there's nothing about what I played through in the demo that made me feel anything negative. Even when you come across the enemies, and you're able to sort of be goofy with them and, like halfway flirt with this like evil bunny, like it's just, probably like my favorite, thing that I was able to go through the whole game. I realized pretty quickly I didn't need to feel too pressured on time with the puzzles. I was able to sort of just enjoy the experience, enjoy the sounds, enjoy figuring out how it worked. I think that it's really impressive how you all have done this. So, and I mean, this is a pretty big question, but how did you together come to the decision to make a match 3, to have this unique style of match 3? Because I haven't seen it done the way you have, where you pull things out of the ground and put them in. How did all that come to be?
Well, that is entirely C.
Wow.
So she will, I don't know if she'll mention in the chat there how that came about. I think it was a game called Clax, I think. And just all the, she'll be so mad at me that I forgot.
You're saying Magical Drop?
Magical Drop, there you go. I was thinking Puyo something. Anyways, yeah. I'm missing out on all this history, so of games. The time that I didn't play games, so very sad. But yeah, she came up with the idea, and we had a much smaller sized screen, and it was just a few colors, maybe 4 colors, 5 colors, greens, grays, and pink, and it was just the levels. So you would just do the level, and then it would end, and you could unlock animals to be on your farm with you, but that was it. And when we got some feedback on the lack of color and the size, so we scaled it up. We made it bigger, we made it more color, and then people played a level, and they said, we want to know more about the characters. So I'd been playing a game called Murder by Numbers, and it seemed like a really good way to do things, where it's a puzzle in a game, a story game, and C had been playing, and she'll have to mention the name of it, where you actually explore a world while you're in a menu. So so she got the idea of these rooms that contained puzzles as well as story. There you go. Just shapes and beats. And we it took forever to take a single level into an entire room that had multiple levels and multiple spots and interactions and all that. But I've built this whole backbone where I can just plug in a bunch of numbers and sprites and details, and bam, an episode will live.
Wow. Oh, that's really cool. I love. And then she was mentioning in chat, you in the magical drop, you pull down and throw up. Wanted to flip it, but give it a physical context in a world. It's really that's cool, because even if someone's played Magical Drop, is used to that, this is a completely fresh take. There's so much additional to it, which is really cool. And I don't know if this is, yours or your wife's idea, but how did you all come up with the idea of making it farming specifically and, these root veggies? Because I think that is such a cute spin on it, but really not what you would expect.
It's super cute. I am such a geek about seeds, vegetables, and growing things, and but it didn't come from me. It came from her. I think the idea came about from remind me of the Mario game that you had the idea from, where pulling up veggies out of the ground and carrying them above your head. And yes, that's right. And she had all sorts of art for it, where it was Princess Farmer, and she was directing little animals to do the harvest for her. And we had ideas of like the harvests specifically like lured other animals there to help you, and so it was this whole like animal farm building thing. So yeah, but that's not the word it is now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love how many things have had inspiration pulled. The one that is most obvious to me is, I mean, not a game, but Sailor Moon. I get the Sailor Moon vibes here and there, and maybe even places I'm not. Obviously, Tuxedo Mask is the easiest example, which is amazing. But I remember seeing on Twitter just a close-up of the changing animation, which was always my favorite part. So I just love all the places you all were able to pull inspiration from to create this, in my eyes, completely unique project. I love puzzles.
Thanks. Yes. She loves those transformations. They just we added it as a last minute kind of thought for the demo, and we just love it now. It's fantastic.
Yes,
it is. It's a magical girl game.
Yes, definitely. So we talked just very briefly earlier about how you worked on the programming for this game, and I'm sort of curious, and Chef Jess mentioned this in chat, so the Twitch chat interaction, that's something is that going to be in the full game, or is that a special demo exclusive feature?
I have no idea. It was something I wanted to do, something that you mentioned, and she's the community director for Whitethorn, and I looked into it and I discovered it was kind of easy to do, so I did it, but I don't know how it would work in a final game, but I'm thinking it might be possible. So yeah.
It was really cool. I think that our chat found that to be one of their favorite things, because they got to say, and they got to be mean to sometimes when I didn't want them to be, but that's okay. But so you said it wasn't that hard. To me, it seems hard. I noticed that you had, I guess, a bot running with the Samobee Games like Twitch account that would come into your chat and say that. I was like, oh, they're here. What was it like to learn about that and to get it implemented?
So I just Googled it, and then I found a video by Sean Spalding, who does a lot of Game Maker tutorials and talks about Game Maker a lot. And he did a quick tutorial about it and pointed in the direction of a GitHub repository that had a whole bunch of scripts in it. And I grabbed it and figured out how to fit it all together. And, you know, it's got some stuff that I've done to customize it, obviously, but it was all there, so it was fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome that they just have that type of thing out there ready to go.
Yeah,
great, cool. And then, you know, kind of on the same level with the writing, would you say that with the writing you are just sort of going with what feels right when you write things, or do you put a lot of thought in terms of like the greater story, or is there like a lot of extra depth that goes into the writing that maybe we might not even realize?
Well, I know writers will be mad at me when I say that I don't even know the full story. I just write what feels right at the moment. I know that I'm going to have to go back and do a lot of fixing the dialogue, but for now it just I'm getting a feel for the characters and how they talk and what kind of stuff is going on, and then whilst he works on the rest of the episodes, the backgrounds and the boards for them, and then when I get that, she's written some notes on there so that I know what's going on story wise. But I didn't get that for episode 2 and 5. She just had some notes about what was going on, and so I just wrote the dialogue fitting her story. So yeah.
Great. I think I love that. I don't think there's anything wrong with, I mean, obviously I'm not a writer, but who needs them if they're gonna be judgy about it? No, I think it's great that you kind of can just dive in, see what feels right, and then morph it later. And it's nice that you kind of have that flexibility. Out of curiosity, do you have a general sense for when the full game will be ready for release, or are you just sort of taking it as it goes and you'll figure it out when you figure it out? Because I understand not wanting to put extra pressure on if you're not sure.
Yeah, as far as I know, just later this year. Oh.
Great. You heard it here first, folks. We'll definitely be on the lookout. 9 episodes, 9 tapes, and then there were 2 in the demo. So that's great. We'll definitely be looking forward to it.
Aw, I don't know if I knew that about Ranma's first season was 9 tapes. That's awesome.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, great.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really wanted to delve into a bit was when it came to actually publishing the game, did you all already have a relationship with Whitethorn, or how did you come about finding them to form a partnership for Princess Farmer?
What a good question. No, we did not have a connection with Whitethorn at all. We were not going to have a publisher. It was something that we kind of talked about, that we feel that it's a predatory kind of industry and we didn't want to have that kind of situation. So it was just, I was trying to build up Twitter and I only had a few followers, and I was trying to tweet out the game, and I suddenly got a message saying, hey, you should chat with us. And I'm like, oh, what? So that was wild. So I did a ton of research into them. I was like, this, if I do respond positively, then I need to know what's going on. So I looked them up. I'm like, wow, this is like exactly our philosophies. And so I responded saying, yeah, are you interested? So it took a while, and we were back and forth and talking, and then it just happened. It was awesome. It was like a magical moment of like, yeah, so this is actually happening for us.
Yeah, great choice. I'm glad that they did contact you, because I would not have known about the game probably if not for Whitethorn, and I have seen nothing but positivity. So you were going to try to publish on your own originally?
Yeah, we didn't really have the plan for the story yet. It was just the matching game part. And
Wow.
so we're thinking, do that as fast as possible, put it out there, make a little bit of money, and then we can go on to the next project and just keep going that way. But then we realized, you know what, people like the characters, and this is a fun game to play. So we just, yeah, we were able to do this now, and that's amazing.
Wow. Oh, that's really impressive. You've been working on this game for a while, right? How long has it been since since whatever you would say was the inception of this project?
Probably a couple years, just over a couple of years. She's been doing, some some art for it, concept art for it for a while, and then it's funny because the original way she got me to work on the game was she did up an animation of what the game would look like running. So it was Princess Farmer, but it was just an animation. So from that, I was able to be like, oh, maybe I can make this work. So I did so much research to figure out Unity, Game Maker, and the way I originally built the bare bones of the matching system is I used a tutorial that I found on Udemy for a Unity Match 3 game. So I used that, and that code is still in the Game Maker version. So
wow.
It's very, yeah.
Wow, that is so impressive. Oh, 2 years is a long time to be working on one project. Does it still feel fresh and good and great because you're able to work through that story and you're refining that, or are you starting to get kind of burned out and wanting it to be over?
No, I love this game. I love it so much, and I'm just seeing new art from C all the time, and I get to change up what I do like all the time. So, one day I'll be putting in like the coordinates and all that sort of stuff for an episode, and I've been working for a few days right now on. I originally put the dialogue system all entirely in the game, thinking, oh no, this is just temporary. We're just trying this out. And now I'm having to take it all out so that it can go into a spreadsheet. And I'm trying to figure that out, and it's taking a long time. Long time for me, though, is like 3 days, just so you know. My wife makes fun of me all the time about that.
No, I mean, but it's tedious, I'm sure, to have to do that.
Yes. And then some days I get to write, and then sometimes I'm doing level design stuff, and it's so rewarding, and I love seeing the game being played and shared, and the characters grow. Like it's very cool.
Oh, I love that. That makes me happy. I keep at it. I think that y'all are on a great trajectory so far, and I'm excited to see what's next.
Thank you.
So so it sounds like really with this game, primarily you're working on it in a very episodic format, not just in gameplay wise, but really how you develop it, right?
Yeah, it's so we did episode 2 first, just to make sure that that it worked, that the system would work, and that it would be playable and fun, and people wouldn't get bored. I find games with a lot of dialogues super boring, so I try to keep it short and like snappy or funny or whatever. And people have been responding positively, which is really good. But you know what? You can skip the dialogues as much as you want. You can just run right past a person and don't even talk to them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's nice. It gives people a little bit of flexibility. There's a lot of room for sort of playing how you want to within the mechanics, which is nice.
Yeah.
Great. So the demo, I feel like typically I'll see a game demo just a little bit in advance. So how did y'all make the decision to release a demo this far out? Because I'm seeing it really positively, actually. But I know sometimes people release demos too soon and they change a lot and maybe it could bring issues. So how did y'all get to the decision to release a demo at this time?
Well, because of the way that we're doing the episodic format, we were able to have this nice little contained experience that was like 20-40 minutes long that was just perfect for a demo. And so when we knew about the Steam Festival coming up, we're like, yeah, that's the perfect time for it. So that's why we released the demo so early. And then when Whitethorn told us about their Whitethorn Winter event, we're like, hey, the next episode we should work on should be a snow one. So that's how episode 5 came to be. And when Whitethorn Winter was coming out, I really, really, really wanted to get streamers into the game. So, I reached out to a bunch of streamers and posted like, hey, is anybody interested in playing a super special access to this? and I had to, it was so much crunch at the end there just before to get this all done with the Twitch integration and the dialogue and getting everything working. And then Whitethorn Winter happened, and the demo came out, and streamers had the demo, and it's going over well. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I think you did a great job with it. Speaking from the back end, getting to see a lot of it. B, you said I'm still shocked with all the work you put into the streamer builds. You made them really special. You really did.
Aww, thanks. I'm glad. Yeah. Yeah. Any streamers out there, I'll make you a special dye and sparkles if you want. So yeah,
you guys hear that? I know we've got a few people who are in chat. I don't know if they're still listening, but yeah,
I learned that streamers really like purple.
Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense with Twitch, but I feel like. Yep. That's royal right there. I don't know if royal's in chat. Royal people are coming for your color. Energetic Irish wants to know which of the characters is your favorite.
That's so hard. I really like Jasper.
Yeah.
Doing the research for the British slang was just so much fun. Really hard though, and I hope that it isn't insulting anyone in any way when I use it, but
I'm sure not.
I was writing for them and it just sort of naturally came out, and so that I decided. I know, I love Rowan too.
I know, right?
They're amazing. Yeah. But there's another character that we are going to be putting in the game called Carrot. And I'm very excited about her. She's a techie, likes to build tech and stuff like that, and she's actually modeled after our child, so very special to us.
That's awesome.
Carrot.
Oh, I'm excited. I feel like they're all great though. I mean, you could garlic is fantastic, squirrels, all that. My vibe. But it's great that so many people really like Jasper though. People really like the British.
I'm glad. They actually aren't British. They just really like the slang.
I love that.
Unless, of course, the streamer who's doing it is British and they want to do the accent, then that's fine. But otherwise, it's just
Or the streamer attempts to do the accent and it fails miserably. Which maybe that's better. Maybe that's even more accurate.
I think that would actually be super accurate.
I love that. Oh my gosh. So looking forward, as you approach release and you continue working on the game, what are some of the other promotion plans that you have in mind to try to really get the word out and get people excited about the game?
Oh, so terrible at it. I'm so grateful that we have Whitethorn. I don't know. I just don't know personally.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give my wife access to the Twitter account a few times, and she's so much gutsier and more interesting than stuff that I write. Yeah, she'll gay it up. Yeah.
That's perfect. No, and I mean, honestly, I wouldn't necessarily expect you to have everything figured out, given that there's a lot of core stuff to still work on. But yeah, I think what I'm seeing is great. Anyways, there's a lot of fun stuff to retweet and to like and see. I love seeing your art. I loved the make it trees. And then later in the day, I saw the trees, and I said, "This was today." How did you do this? Can't wait for the seed to go.
I know that'll be so good, but yeah, so hard. She had a tablet recently, much smaller, and it had a specific just the way she had to hunch over to do the work, and it was hurting her shoulder. So we splurged on a larger one that tilts, and it's just been fantastic. But she still hunches over, and I still get angry with her. But anyways, she works really hard. So yes,
I could tell. It's a strong team that you guys got going on.
I know, and we've got this awesome person who does the music and the sound effects for us.
Yes,
their name is Astra, and love them. They're an amazing person. So
yeah, a fantastic auditory all around between the music and the effects. It's all really incredible. So yay, great team.
Yeah, thanks.
So reflecting on what you've done so far, or even maybe things you're doing right now, what has been the greatest unexpected challenge that you all have run into when creating this game? Big question time.
Unexpected challenge. Yeah. Well, I mean, the PR is very tough for me. I just don't have that kind of brain of knowing how to approach it, or consistently having the guts to do it. I'll sometimes have a burst of inspiration, and I'll post and do a bunch of stuff, and then I'll just be like, oh god, I'm back in my shell now.
Oh no. Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize. I mean, you've already mentioned like you're doing programming and writing, and C's doing all these graphic things. It sounds like having a lot of the conceptualizations behind what you're doing, and like there's so many hats you have to wear to get an indie game out. And I think marketing is the main one that tends to fall to the wayside, because it is the least of the like core ones. That's a second thought. That comes later. So a lot of the people who go into it aren't going in with that perspective.
Yeah, and I think that that's a mistake a lot of people have, is like, oh, I gotta get as much done of this game as possible before I start. I think people up about it.
Yes.
And we usually do it that way, and then but having this time, because Whitethorn is the publisher for us, we've been able to take this time and kind of build up the hype, build up the audience and community. And so far, I really love our community. It's really great people.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. I guess I knew publishers, published and then handled a lot of the things on the back end, but I guess I didn't realize just how much on that marketing side that they're able to take on. But it makes sense, given that a lot of my awareness of their games comes directly from them. Anyways, Whitethorn Winter was fantastic. BU, you're awesome. Sorry, I'm a little fangirl. But I don't think a lot of people realize that. Did you all know just how much they would help on that end, or were you not expecting it?
I don't know what we were expecting, but we just really were grateful that someone was wanting to take a chance to help us with the game, and we're thrilled with how they've been handling everything. BU is amazing. I love her, and And yeah, they've been doing just such a fantastic job. Like, I think the biggest thing that I didn't realize was important was, the industry connections of like, oh, hey, this conference or show is coming up, and we're going to get you into this and send us some assets. And that's literally the only crunch we ever have, by the way. It's when they're like, hey, get us some assets. And but it's been fantastic for that, because we've been in all sorts of things that are just really exciting. And they've been great.
That's awesome. Well, coming back from my other question, but at a different angle, what has been the most pleasant surprise about working on Princess Farmer?
I'm trying to decide if I should just go with my gut instinct and say and be gooey and just be like, I'm working with my wife. It's the best thing ever.
So cute. My heart.
I am so grateful for her and her art and the way we work together. It's magical and wonderful, and so I hope that everyone can just feel the love that goes into this game, because of how much love is also behind the game. So and how much love happened up until the beginning of starting on this game. Like, it's just, this is kind of a whole history thing for us as well. She's trying so hard to get girly experiences into games for so long, and it's always a pushback that she gets from whomever she's working with. It's just like, you know what, no, that's not a big enough audience, we're not gonna do that. And so yeah, it's so good that I can do something on a laptop that will bring her visions to life. So that's the best.
Oh, I could tell I could definitely tell the love is put in, and it's on all levels, in everything from just like, it's a game that doesn't feel like it's being trapped to expectations. It's a game that is allowing itself to be itself, and in the best way. It is a game where you play it and you don't feel pressured to have to do, I think of, various different genres like shooters where you have an expectation. You got to be like really good at aiming and you got to play it a certain way. This is the complete opposite game. But I don't know. I guess there is something really nice about playing through a game that has a storyline that you do not feel like even like I would even say like think of like Undertale, where you do still kind of feel pressure because like, yeah, you have freedom of choice, but you kind of have to follow through. You have to commit. This game doesn't feel that pressure. This is a nice game for that.
Oh, I'm glad. One thing that C tweeted the other day was, it's an interesting thing in like even wholesome, cozy games where there has to be some sort of tragic backstory or something traumatic will happen within the story. And not knocking those at all. That's totally valid. But it's just there's very few experiences that are just completely just joy the whole way.
Yes.
So yeah. That's what we wanted.
It's joy. Even I love that, after the second episode when we were playing through at the end and it shows the relationships, the enemies, it said frenemy, and I lost it. I was like, this is the game I've been waiting for. Which, by the way, we didn't realize that was a feature, so when we got there, all of chat was like, what? It might be our favorite bit.
That's awesome. Yeah, we at some point we were talking about, BuzzFeed quizzes where you enter a whole bunch of things and then you get an answer at the end to say who is your soulmate or whatever. So that's what it came from, is like the dialogue options will add points to certain buckets. Like there's impress, there's disappoint, there's depress, and flirt, and then depending on what the highest buckets were, that's where you get your results. So yes, dialogue options do matter.
I love that so much. So it was a secret feature that's what C is saying, that you made it secret. I guess I didn't know about it, so I guess it was secret.
We don't actually talk about it that much because we want people to have that joy of discovering, oh, the game's over. I've done it. Oh wait, what? Why are my bunnies in bed and they're dreaming of their frenemies? Like, what the heck?
I love, it works. You did exactly that. Okay, I'd have to catch up with the question that was in chat. I just love that. So in addition to impacting the relationships, or maybe in conjunction with that, will dialogue do anything else, like alter events in some way, or at the end of the day, are they just sort of fun dialogue to be thrown in and just experienced episode to episode?
Well, we kind of wanted people to be able to replay episodes if they wanted and do it differently. I don't know what will happen about the end, but I do have a way of tracking all of this throughout the game so that we can do something with it at the end. I just don't know what yet.
I like it. Big party bash at the end. Who's gonna be the belle of the ball or something?
Exactly. Well, how did we do it? We were trying to figure out all these names. There's Disillusioned Darling.
Yeah, wait, what does that one mean? I want to make sure. I couldn't tell if that was bad or not.
That means that you've disappointed them.
Oh no, it was bad.
Yeah.
Guys, you did that. Chat did that.
Oh no. My favorite is Glum Chum, but that one's hard to get. So
is that a really bad one? That sounds really bad.
Is that you just too many points in the depression bucket?
Depression? There's a depression bucket? That's sad. We had 2 of them. I don't remember. I want to say Jasper was one. The chat kept being like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what as opposed to like, oh, interesting. Tell me more. It's so sassy.
Aww.
But can you tell this is definitely Chad's favorite part? Yeah, Devin, good job.
I love it.
Gosh.
Oh my god.
Do the relationships carry over episode to episode, or are they fresh at the beginning of each one?
Well, right now they're fresh. Each episode has its own separate points, but we've got some time to play with that. I might, now that I've almost got the dialogue system into a spreadsheet, I might be able to play with it more. So yeah. Okay.
It'll be interesting. This is a cool timeline to speak to you all on, because there's still a lot of things that you haven't solidified yet, and that's pretty cool. Also very smart that you, like, in retrospect, with the demo being out now, you can get feedback and you have so much time to act on feedback that you get, which is really nice. Has there been anything so far that's come out that you've been like, oh, of course, or has it mostly just been positive? Because like, I honestly don't have feedback.
I'm not sure. There were a couple of things maybe that I'll be doing some tweaks with. Like, I wrote Jasper's dialogue. I started it, and then I got the idea pretty fast, but I don't go whole into the British slang at the beginning of their introduction. So yeah, might tweak that a bit, but otherwise, yeah, no, I haven't had really any specific feedback.
Yeah,
to change. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got a lot that's still in front of you, and I'm sure that it'll be fun to see things as they come to fruition, and then finally get to actually play the full game. And that'll be fun to see the progression. Yeah, cool.
And We take suggestions, so yeah, reach out to me on Twitter at Samobee Games, and I love feedback. I love suggestions, all that. So yeah, for the game to be released just later,
Yeah.
2021. We're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. See, it's hard because being the sole programmer, I'm also doing homeschooling with our kid, who's 9 years old, and I'm also I have fibromyalgia, so that kind of sometimes makes it difficult to predict how things are going to go a certain day. So
Yeah. That's definitely that's a whole different challenge in and of itself. So props to you for working through that and still getting all of this through.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thanks.
Guys, just a reminder in chat, we're getting up to the very end, so drop any last questions in chat if you have any that you haven't already asked. But if you had to, give any advice for anyone entering the game dev industry or someone who is thinking about it, what do you think is something that you wish you would have known before you started working on games?
I wish I could go back and tell 18-year-old me, have the guts to stick with it, even though there are a bunch of men around you talking about how they're just intimidating. Yes, just stick with it. I wish I could tell myself that. But for people trying to get into indie games, I really think it's important to have at least someone on your team who has experience with the process from it. I think that's been a huge help for us, is C's experience as so many number of things at some big companies. So that has really helped us for sure to avoid some of the pitfalls of those places. But also just having the guts to do it, and being passionate about what it is you're doing.
Yeah.
If something doesn't feel right, then you just need to stop. But if it's good, keep going and just stick with it.
I love it.
Know people. Know people.
Know people.
Be kind to everyone.
Aw, I love it. That's so important. Just like we were talking earlier today. I mean, it's one thing to be working in the indie dev area where it's already super challenging to get your game out and to learn everything, because really I don't think there's enough education as there could be. But the added struggle of trying to do this, being a woman and being honestly true to the femininity that you want to keep in the game, like that alone is a challenge, because it's one thing to say, well, I'm a woman, but let me make a game that's going to appeal to typical masculinity. It's another that, you can do that, but it's another thing to go on this path and be true to that magical girl, like wholesome, cozy vibe. Because there is a huge market in gaming, and there's everyone in gaming, and you will get there, but it's hard sometimes to keep up and to trust yourself. And I'm glad that y'all have been able to trust yourself to get to this point, and to keep on. And I think it's going to be a really impressive game when it finally comes out.
Oh, I hope so. We're just so excited.
Yeah, awesome. Devin asks, what platforms will it be released on? So definitely PC at least, right?
Yeah, PC. I know for sure Xbox. I think we just say PC and consoles. I think that's what we're saying.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. We're really going to be looking forward to it. I know we got the question. You guys don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but we got the question of how you and your wife met.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 1998.
Oh, you guys have been together for a while. Oh, my heart.
Yeah. I know. We met online through a friend, and she drove out to go on our first date. We saw the movie Ever After
Oh,
and
oh.
went to Milestones. And she did an attack hug on me while I was trying to get in the car. It was so cute and awkward. It was amazing. And she lived in another town from me, like how many hours away?
Oh,
5
no.
hours away?
Oh.
5 hours away. And the next week she moved down to be with me. So yeah, we've been together ever since. It's our 20th anniversary in April this month. So.
My heart. You're just, it's that's adorable. What a meet cute. I cannot believe. Well, congrats on coming up on 20 years. That's really fantastic, and I wish you a lifetime of joy together. And I wish that you will continue making games, because it is clear that this is something you are great at, and I mean, there's nothing really that I see to improve, but I can only imagine if this is where you're at right now, there will surely it'll grow even from here.
I hope so. We want to keep making games so much. This is just exactly what I want to be doing right now. Exactly.
Yay! Oh, I'm so grateful that we've been able to talk to you about this. I want to know if you have any final thoughts that you would want to share with the audience, and then after that we can just sort of wrap up, I guess.
Just I don't know.
Hey,
be kind. Be kind.
Be kind.
Thank you.
I love it. That's what we like. Well, everyone, right now, I'm going to grab the Steam link, and I need you all to wish list.
Thank you.
Yes, wish list, and then go. Oh, let me also get the Twitter link for Samobee Games, because I know a lot of people in chat were like, I want this game. So there is the Steam link. Go wishlist. And then... Oh no, that's a very long URL. I don't need that. And then here is their Twitter, so go give them a follow. And yeah, I think that is about it for us today. But thank you again so much for being here, for talking about Princess Farmer. It has been such a fun journey to get to learn about this game. Oh, thank you for the gift sub. And I hope, I know, right? I just really hope to continue seeing the progress, and I can't wait for it to come out so we can finally play the full game on stream. We'll be patiently waiting.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
And thank you, chat. You've been wonderful.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you again so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you so much.